Welcome to the 8th grade math homework helper series. Tonight's homework is PT-2, the second proof of Pythagorean theorem. We don't have any vocabulary, so we're going to jump right to the question. Number 1F, prove that the Pythagorean theorem works for these right triangles. So you can see we have all three of the sides done for us, and all we do is simply plug in these numbers into the Pythagorean theorem. So we need to get the two legs and we need to get the hypotenuse. The first thing we want to do is locate with these three angles which one is the right angle. You should notice that the right angle is right in here, and whenever you box out the right angle like that, this corner is always going to be pointing towards the hypotenuse. So the two sides that make up the right angle are the legs, and the corner of the box points to the hypotenuse. And so we have a leg at 39 inches and a leg at 80 inches, and we just want to plug those into A and B, and we have 89 inches for the hypotenuse. Then you can plug that information into your calculator. When you do 39 squared, you'll get 6,400. 80 squared is 1,521, and 89 squared is 7,921. And if you plug in 6,400 and 1,521, it does in fact equal 7,921. In showing that they're equal, you have proven the Pythagorean theorem. For number 2D, you're going to find the missing side length using the Pythagorean theorem, and then we're going to round to the nearest tenth. So we have a triangle that has three angles. First thing we need to do, once again, is locate where is the right angle. You should notice the right angle is in this corner right here. The corner of the box that I used to show the right angle points to the hypotenuse, and these two sides are the legs. So we have 15 for one leg and k for another leg, which we put in as 15 squared and k squared. And our hypotenuse of 38 goes in as 38 squared. Now it becomes a simple algebra problem, and 15 squared is 225, k squared we don't know yet, 38 squared is 1,444. If we subtract 225 from both sides, we're going to get 1,219. With k squared, if we find the square root of k squared, the square root symbol cancels out the 2, and that gives us just k by itself, and then we have to find the square root of 1,219. When you do that, you're going to get a long number. It's 34.9141805, and that's the full calculator display. That's what FCD stands for. But if you remember back at the beginning, we were told to round to the nearest tenth. And so I'm going to go, my 9 is in the tenths place, and so I'm going to look to the next digit over in the hundredths place, and if it's a strong number, that 9 is going to get bumped up to a 10. If it's a weak number, the 9 is going to stay a 9. And since 1 is a weak number, it stays a 9. So rounded to the nearest tenth, k is equal to 34.9 feet. Don't forget, in your final answer, if you have a unit of measurement that you've been using, you need to include it in your final answer too. For question number 2E, once again we're trying to find the missing side length using the Pythagorean theorem. So I look at the three angles. It is obvious to me that the right angle exists right here, and that tells me that 3.41 and h are my legs, and the corner of the box points to the hypotenuse at 7.25. So now I need to plug these three things into this equation. A squared is going to be one of my legs, so 3.4. B squared is going to be my other leg, h, and 7.25 is going to be my hypotenuse, or c. Now I can go ahead and solve. 3.4 squared is 11.6281 plus h squared is 7.25 squared is 52.5625. If I subtract the 11.6281 from both sides, I get h squared equals 40.9344. Then I need to do the square root of each of those. I need to do it to h to remove the 2, and that gives me h by itself. And if I do it to 40, I get a full calculator display of 6.39799,687. Again, I was asked to round to the nearest tenth, so I go to the hundredths place and I see it's 9. It's a strong number, so it's able to bump the 3 that's in the tenths place up to a 4, and so rounded to the nearest tenth, it is 6.4, and I need to be sure that I include my unit of measurement, in this case inches. For 2f, I have another triangle. I need to locate the right angle. I can see it is right there. And once I've located the right angle, that tells me 2 things that I need to know, which are my legs, the 2 lines that make up the right angle, and my hypotenuse is directly across from the corner of the box I made. So I have a leg at 7, I have a leg at w, and I have a hypotenuse at 9. So a has to be one of my legs. I've chosen to make it w squared. B, it then has to be 7 squared. And c has to be 9 to the second power. Once I've got those in place, I can solve it algebraically. So I have w to the second power plus 7 squared, which is 49, equals 9 squared, which is 81. If I subtract 49 from each side, I'll get w squared equals 32. I need to get the square root of each of those, which removes the 2 from my w, and gives me 5.656854,249, full calculator display. And looking at the hundredths place, 5 is a strong number, so it takes the 6 that's in the tenths place and bumps it up to a 7. So w equals 5.7 kilometers, because those are the units of measurement that I started with. Please use the problems that were done for you tonight to help you to solve any additional problems that are in your homework. And remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.